Hi, this is Brian Davis, Regional Vice President with Blue Sky Restoration. We're here to introduce you to Adam Popp. Adam, good to meet you.
Good to meet you as well, Brian.
So I'd like to find out a little bit about you. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Adam Popp. I grew up in a small town in southern Indiana. At the age of 18, I enlisted in the United States Air Force. My job in the Air Force was an explosive ordnance disposal technician, and that job is responsible for removing IEDs and other explosive threats from the battlefield while deployed in combat environments.
So now that you're a veteran, what does service mean to you now?
Yeah, when I was an 18-year-old kid and wasn't sure what to do next, and that step up joining the Air Force, I learned a lot in those 12 years I was in the military, and most of it revolves around service and giving back and being a part of a team that is contributing to the good of our country and the good of our communities. So that was my service while I was in the military, and then post-military, again, just giving back to the community and being in service to others and finding that sense of purpose and belonging and sharing that with others so that they can be better people as well.
Excellent. You mentioned team a few times. Team's a big word. If someone says to you team, there's so many places that can go. What does team mean to Adam?
Yeah, team has been a really important part of my life ever since I was a kid. So playing on teams, sports teams mainly growing up, and then through high school, being a part of those teams with like-minded individuals and trying to accomplish a like-minded goal really taught me a lot of values along the way from different people, different people with different views than my own, and coming together for the common good of something better than ourselves. That word really became more important to me when I joined the military and becoming part of probably one of the tightest knit teams I've ever been a part of, and deploying with an EOD team and being a leader of an EOD team, working together seamlessly on the battlefield, again, to help those around us, help those in the military, help those in the local population. And then on the day of my injury, having those team members come to my aid, get me off the battlefield so that I could live and survive, and then really being supportive along the way and being my teammates through my recovery and just setting me up for success moving forward. I mean, I couldn't have done it without those people around me.
How can we support our veterans? You're a veteran, there's so many that are out there. What would you say to those out there for Veterans Day and how we could support veterans as a community and as a country?
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head by saying community. When I left the service, we always hear about, maybe not even always because it's not often talked about, but you hear this term called the civilian-military divide, or the divide between military and civilians. And I think finding ways to lessen that divide and come together on more what we share in common and supporting each other is important in not only the community level, but the country level as well. So what was an important part of my recovery was starting to run and be physically active. And there was an organization in Washington, D.C. or in that area that would bring civilians and military together to kind of just go for a jog together and chat about life or whatever came up. And it's getting to know the person outside of this kind of context of you're in the military, you served, and you didn't, and just welcoming veterans into their community, and then trying to be, again, a positive part of the community myself. So I think a lot of times when veterans leave the service and they move back to, where I grew up, middle America, Midwest, small town Indiana, people are supportive, but the veteran themselves don't often feel like they fit in. Mm-hmm. And simple events like that where the community comes together and tries to understand each other and support each other is the way to do that.
Let's talk about all these organizations that are out there. I've done a lot with Folds of Honor, very dear to me, and some of the folks here in the Springs. Mm-hmm. Homes for Our Troops. I say Homes for Our Troops. What does that mean to Adam Popp? What does it mean to other veterans?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things that I didn't think about when I left the hospital. When you're in that hospital, in that sterile environment, everything's mostly easy as you're learning to navigate walking again and using a wheelchair. But once you leave that sterile environment, that's part of that difficult transition process. I moved into an old house in Baltimore, and everything's super tiny and stairs, and it's just a constant grind, a constant daily grind of waking up and trying to navigate and figure out a world that wasn't necessarily designed for you like the hospital was. And that's where Homes for Troops can step in, and we're going to design this space exactly for how you need to help you eliminate those barriers that I've been facing for a decade and a half at this point.
We're excited to be part of it. Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to fast forward a little bit. You've been through a lot. You've done a lot to get where you are. How's your life going, and how has your wife Amanda made your life better?
Yeah, it's a big question. So
she said before this interview, you could talk as long as you want about her.
Okay,
so that's fine.
Amanda said that, or?
She did, yeah.
Yeah, so my life has, like I said, drastically changed, and since leaving the military. A big part of that has been the last 5-ish years since I met my wife. We moved from DC. What you may not know is her dad was career Air Force civilian, so he was the general counsel for the Air Force, and they lived 30 years in the Alexandria area. Her dad worked at the Pentagon, and their mom was also an oncology nurse. So talk about service, she was,
right.
And then she was in the Peace Corps. So I think her and her family know a little bit about service as well. And then since meeting her and kind of in the DC area, we moved out to Colorado together. And really she's just been supportive since day one of all these like crazy ideas I have. So we share a lot of similar values, and that's again service and the family values and resilience, and these things that are so important to my life are important to her as well. Those kind of like combined again to make a team and make a better outcome for both of us. And a year, 13 months ago at this point, we had our little son, and it's just been incredible watching her raise him and impart these values on him. And these values again that are so important to me, but just to watch her do it so elegantly with him, and it's been really cool.
Awesome. It's not over when you lose, it's over when you quit.
Yeah.
I had to do some research.
Okay.
What does that mean to you?
I think especially at the time, like of my incident, as I mentioned, it's like it gives you, I had every opportunity. Something was taken from me. I lost a physical part of my body. And I had every excuse to quit and just kind of coast through life and kind of ride my disability, if you will. And I think I did that for a little bit. But over time I realized like I didn't lose something. I gained a lot more through what happened to me. And I gained a second chance is what I did. And I would be doing a disservice to my team members and those people around me who supported me by quitting. 7 years after my injury, I really went hard into being a better person and going back to school and being of service to others and being physically fit and just kind of pushing the limits and not quitting. And there's been several points along the way where you lose or you fall or you don't necessarily accomplish the goals that you set out. And again, you could quit, but if you keep going, then really you'll never lose.
You guys fight for our right to do all the stuff that we do. So thank you for your service and all those as well.
I appreciate you saying that. That's my deep honor.
I appreciate your time, Adam. It's been great to meet you and Amanda and your son and welcoming us into your home. So
you as well. And I can't thank you enough for the support to Homes for Our Troops and myself personally coming out here and checking in with me. So appreciate it.
100%.